After about 9 months of legal fireworks, the ghost of the October the 20th, 2020 governorship election in Ondo State is finally buried. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu and his party, the All Progressives Congress, followed their victories at the lower tribunal and the Court of Appeal with the ultimate triumph at the Supreme Court. In a 4-3 judgment, the 7-justice panel of the Apex Court sounded the death knell on the case by dismissing the appeal filed by the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, and its candidate Eyitayo Jegede against the victory of Mr. Akeredolu for lack of competence. Now, this was in line with PKO and others who stressed when the appeal court's verdict on the matter was discussed on the program last month.
The appeal court agreed. If they agreed with that, that's why they said, okay, this case is partially allowed and partially dismissed.
It could be tricky.
It is very tricky. It's a technicality. And I think it gives an opportunity for the Supreme Court, to make a final decision on it, which is going to be a kind of precedent.
If Malabuni was included in this matter, would have been saying another thing completely today. But this is luck. I want to say this is luck, but
this will most likely serve as a lesson to the APC, because clearly the appellants did not join Governor Mai Malabuni in this suit. If they had joined Governor Mai Malabuni in this suit, maybe the outcome would have been different. Because the appeal court affirmed that Mai Malabuni, who was cited in by the appellant as someone who was occupying 2 positions, you did not join him in the suit. So for not joining him in the suit, the appeal court was the opinion that he did not get fair hearing. The appeal court was also of the opinion that Governor Akeredolu could not be vicariously liable
for that error.
Because again,
crisis within the APC.
Mai Malabuni didn't get a chance to defend himself. These are technical issues in law, but they are also very valid issues. If you fail to join someone in a matter like this, and you want judgment entered against that person, it's not going to happen. Jegede was not contesting the fact that he lost the election. He was more interested in the internal affairs of the APC.
Yeah.
As I said earlier, the big error that I think that they have made, that the Jegede and his team made, was that Mai Malabuni was not joined in this suit. And when you make that kind of critical error, you've made it easy for your opponent to claim victory.
Exactly.
And at the level of the Supreme Court, I don't think that they can lead evidence that they did not bring up during the appeal. In the trial court.
Exactly.
All right, and so here we are now. The Supreme Court has spoken, and this is the final decision. BKO, how do you react to this? Yes, you predicted that this would be the core issues before the panel, and the panel has the Supreme Court has so ruled.
Yes, as I said the last time we discussed this matter, I did not expect the Supreme Court to take a decision outside of the facts laid before the appeal court. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened, because Mai Malabuni was not joined in this matter. That was a fatal error on the part of Jegede and his team. The outcome would most likely have been different if he was joined, because when you fail to join him, you giving him no chance to defend himself, and you are trying to pin all of this on the fact that Mai Mala Buni contravened section 183 of the Constitution by holding two positions. By the letters of the Constitution, Mai Mala Buni is not permitted to act in the position of acting chairman of the APC. Party. That is clear. It's a happy day for the APC. And I know that Governor Akeredolu and his team had sleepless nights. One, they didn't even know those who would be on the panel. So they were, until the very last minute, the members of the panel were made known. So they were then in two minds, what will happen, and they knew that that section 183 could bite the party. But the pattern is always that the facts laid before the lower courts are what the Supreme Court uses to come up with its judgment. So those facts were used by the Supreme Court because the majority judgment, yes, it's 4-3, but the majority judgment is deemed as the judgment of the Supreme Court. We had, let me go to the judges, the way they voted. Justice Mary Peter Odili, as the presiding judge, voted for Jegede, supported Jegede's position. She wanted the appeal to succeed. Justice Ejembi Eko also wanted the appeal to succeed. Justice Ibrahim Musa Saulawa wanted Jegede's appeal to be accepted. And then we had Justice M.L. Garuba for Akeredolu, Justice Inyang Okoro for Akeredolu, Justice Emmanuel Akemaye Ajim for Akeredolu, and last but not the least, Justice Tijani Abubakar for Akeredolu. It was I see it as a good thing that we had this kind of judgment. It doesn't always happen for Supreme Court judges to go against one another in the manner that they have done. But I think it's good for the system if occasionally we have this kind of dissenting judgments. And as I said, the APC were very lucky. On another day, they would have lost this case.
All right. I will get back to you on that tail end of your initial remarks. But PC, how do you react? It was rather close, looking at the margin between or among the 7 justices of the Supreme Court. And for many observers, before that judgment was delivered, it was a novel decision. You know, the fact that the crucial issues in this particular petition, seen as a governor who is also acting as the head of a major political party. But how do you view this decision?
Well, let me first of all congratulate Governor Akeredolu for his victory. You know, at least is there, otherwise it will have been removed. But I think, as Babajide rightly pointed out, the only reason why Governor Akeredolu is still occupying his seat now is because the Supreme Court decided to look to use a technical issue to, you know, throw out Jegede's suit. And from what Justice Odili said, you can see that it's not as if it was smooth. You can have an idea of what could have transpired even among these justices of the Federation, in the fact that Justice Odili said she does not see any reason why Buni should be, his name should be stated, while APC as a party is already included in that suit. And that it's like, it's almost normal for you to see APC and his acting chairman as one. So now removing him from the party, that is what she was opposed to, and all the other judges. So and
were on her side.
On her side. So you can see that really it's very close to call, but thank God that he got it right. I think it's also a good lesson for whoever is taking anybody to court these days. Jegede himself being a lawyer, maybe to actually package their cases very well. Yes. Take care of all the details. The detail is the point now. Yes. If they had been more detailed,
the minutest details.
I'm sure that APC wouldn't have gone away with this.
The minutest details indeed. And of course, once again on observers, because Mr. Jegede and his legal team left the initial issues of allegations of voter intimidation, malpractices and the like, and they focused on the
pre-election matter.
Yes. But if you look at the angle of the dissenting judges, they said the principal had already been sued. Mr. May Malabuni was only an agent, and seeing as the party in itself had been sued ab initio, why should the acting national chairman be sued? And of course not forgetting the immunity that he enjoys if he had been sued in his capacity as governor.
Oh, yes, you have immunity, but the Constitution is clear. The Constitution is clear. You can't occupy those two positions. I'm telling you, if they had made him a party to the suit, we've seen many cases lost because the plaintiff failed to make someone critical to a case party to the case. So party to the suit. In this case, if they had made May Malabuni, because it's not APC that is the issue now. It's May Malabuni, the agent of APC, that is the issue. And I think one of the judges even argued that, look, you can brush May Mala aside, but you can't brush APC aside. So the issue then is, can we then punish one for the other? That was an issue for those judges to decide. But again, since you did not, because I think one of the judges was of the view that, look, if you had joined May Malabuni, it could have come to court to say, look, I didn't even sign any of these letters, any of these documents, which will have made Jagede's case easier. You get the point that I'm making? It will have made this case easier. But you didn't join him in the suit. So he had no chance to defend himself.
Because that way, the liability or otherwise would have been on the party if he had exonerated himself.
Yes, but you didn't give any room for that to happen. So he was not invited to court to come and clear his name or anything, because that fatal error was made. And we talked about it when the lower court gave its judgment that, look, you cannot make this kind of mistake. You join both May Mala and the party, because he is the individual who cannot occupy two positions, not the party. It is the individual that the Constitution talks about. So you can't then leave out that individual and expect that the effect of the words of the Constitution would then take his toll.
But the Constitution also says that he cannot become governor, that's Mr. Akeredolu cannot become governor if he's not sponsored by the party. But in this case now, these are two different issues.
Yeah, then who signs his nomination letter, the nomination form. So that is the role of the chairman and the secretary.
On behalf of
the party, because parties are inanimate entities. Individuals run parties. We can't run away from that. May Malabuni and co are running the party today. The lesson, as I've said earlier, is APC must not always think that they can get away with illegalities. They've paid in the past for this. But you will see that consistently the power people within the party always think that they can get away with many things. Until the courts now come and say, no, you can't do that. And when the court takes its decisions, they will start abusing the judiciary. No. You must do what is right. Follow the law. At every stage, whether at nomination stage, level of primaries, in your conduct, follow the law. APC will have been embarrassed some years back, if not for our erudite vice president. At that meeting, when they decided that, oh, let Baba, the former national chairman of the party, Oyegun, let him continue. When his constitutionally assigned term had ended, you wanted him to continue? It was the VP that said no. If they took us to court, we will lose any election that we win. As long as he's with this man outside in charge, we will lose. Because whatever steps he took will be deemed illegal. And the president supported the VP against 4 governors, including governors who did not know anything about the law. They were arguing. But the president supported the VP and the party was saved that embarrassment. Today again, the party has had the good fortune of being saved by the fact that the PDP people didn't do their own work well. How many times can you be lucky? How many lives?
It was even an issue in the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Yes. It was an issue in the Court of Appeal.
At that time, there was nothing they could do anymore.
Even at that time.
Now, how many lives does a cat have? So they've got to learn from this, because I know there will be steps in future that will also go against the Constitution.
DKO, let's invite Olushola Julius. He's on now from Ibadan. You're welcome. Please join the conversation.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Olushola Julius from Ibadan, Ondo State capital. DKO, good evening, sir. Good evening. And madam, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Now, honestly, I want to congratulate Governor Akeredolu for that victory that has been given to him by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And as well, I want to congratulate Jekete. He should not feel depressed. He can as well try another day. But just the way people are trying to analyze in the house over there, now that proper documentation should be adhered to, and parties as well should observe necessary rules and regulations.
Yes.
So that things will go the other way. Now that the final judgment has been placed on the table of APC, Governor Akeredolu should be magnanimous in victory and make sure that the people of Ondo State enjoy and receive good and genuine dividends of democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Julius.
Thank you.
Thank you. So you've said that this is also lesson for would-be members of the public who want to bring matters to the courts, now especially matters that are these contentious. But for the party itself, you know, APC, VKO has given his own position, but for the party, we are gradually entering into an active election season. So what are your thoughts on what the party should be doing? Because like has been established, the Court of Appeal talked about it, but their hands were tied. They were working with what the petitioner presented, which is also what you harped on earlier. But for the party, where do you see this going?
First of all, let me say that I think this is good development. The fact that Jegede left all the other issues, all the other electoral matters, and went to the pre-electoral issue, and it got us this far, to the point that the dissent in the Supreme Court could be 4-3, which is quite tight. Now, I think our politicians and the political parties have been very reckless. They do so many things that they don't just have respect for the rule of law. And they just assumed that probably if they are the ruling party, and I'm referring to the two prominent political parties in this country now, both PDP or APC and APC, whichever one of them is in power, either at the state level or the national level, you see they have this arrogance that they can always get away with anything, and they don't just have respect for any rules and regulations. INEC will tell them, file your nomination within so and so period of time. They will go against that time. They will not. And maybe 2 days or 3 days after, they begin to rush to file in their nominations. And if anybody that is smart can take note of all of these little things going forward for the parties, then it means that we will not be talking about, okay, this person rigged to win in an election. Then anybody can actually use those technical issues to the areas where any party could have failed to meet up with, the legal process to actually nail that political party, which is a very beautiful lesson for every one of us. So it is my hope that going forward, political parties will also be more cautious. They will take their time to also
because they're also giving opportunities to parties, to rivals of the opposition, and to look further.
Look further, yes, because it's no longer about you rigged to win. There are so many other areas, loopholes that can be used.
The way the Ondo election went, there was no way Jagede's appeal or Jagede's petition could have succeeded,
even if
based on the conduct of the election. The election was transparent. Yes, there was vote buying and all that. That one has now painfully become a culture in our country. But there was electronic transmission. They trialed it in Edo, Nasarawa and Ondo, and it succeeded. People were able to log on to INEC's portal to monitor the progress of the election. So Jagere could not have said, oh, the election was rigged against me, rigged in favor of the APC. No, because everyone, just like we had it in in Edo, the election was free and fair. People could monitor the results from their polling stations.
Could also come back with their own evidence.
And it will not...
Even though he said he had more than 200 witnesses that could have testified on that issue.
On intimidation and all that. Those things are extremely difficult to prove. But the election went well in terms of the way it was conducted. The electronic transmission made it more transparent. So he had to look for a chink in the armor of the ruling party, and that chink was the issue of improper nomination of Jagede. Of Akeredolu.
Right, and Governor Akeredolu himself has spoken, congratulating the party and most importantly appreciating the judiciary. But he has also invited Mr. Jagede. These are two top lawyers in their rankings, and rightly so. He has invited him to join in building the state, moving the state forward. I
congratulate the man with the white beard, because even in his own ruling, in his own party, there were many governors who were praying for Akeredolu to lose, praying for him to lose, not knowing that if he lost, it will have had a tremendous negative impact on the party.
And everyone will be affected.
Every step that Buni had taken could then be inviolated.
All right, we have to rest the discussion at this point. We'll be back for more on Journalist Hangout right after this break. Please stay with us.